Lucy and Whiskers' Grand Adventure. Lucy stood in front of her bedroom mirror, her bouncy, curly hair framing her face like a wild halo. In her arms, she cradled her favorite companion, Whiskers, the small plush toy cat with bright green eyes and a worn pink nose. Whiskers had been her best friend for as long as she could remember. They went everywhere together, on imaginary journeys that transformed ordinary days into extraordinary adventures. Today was no different. "Where are we going today, Whiskers?" Lucy whispered, holding the little toy cat up to her face. She waited, as though listening for a reply, and then smiled widely. "The Enchanted Forest. That sounds perfect." Lucy put Whiskers in the little sling she had made from an old scarf and tied it around her neck, securing her beloved cat to her chest. She looked out the window, where the trees in her backyard swayed gently in the breeze. The backyard wasn't just a yard. To Lucy, it was the edge of the world, the border between the ordinary and the extraordinary. "Off we go," she declared, pushing open the back door and stepping onto the grass. Her sneakers squished slightly in the damp earth, but that only added to the feeling of adventure. She wasn't just a little girl in her backyard anymore. She was Lucy the brave, explorer of magical lands. The trees loomed tall around her, their leaves whispering secrets in the wind. Lucy imagined them as ancient sentinels guarding the entrance to the enchanted forest. She held Whiskers close and took her first step into the unknown. As they ventured deeper into the forest, Lucy spotted something unusual ahead, the glimmering path of silver stones that wound its way between the trees. Lucy gasped. "Look, Whiskers, it's the trail to the golden tree. We have to follow it." Lucy began skipping down the imaginary path, her heart racing with excitement. The golden tree was something she and Whiskers had talked about for days. It was said to be the tallest tree in the entire enchanted forest, with golden leaves that shimmered in the sunlight. And at its roots, legend said, there was a treasure hidden that only the bravest adventurers could find. As they followed the path, Lucy's imagination conjured up all sorts of magical creatures, tiny fairies flitting between the branches, glowing in the sunlight, woodland creatures peeking out from behind bushes, the curious eyes watching the brave adventurer and her companion. Lucy greeted them all with a smile and a wave. Suddenly, she stopped. Ahead of her was a huge boulder, far too large for her to climb over. She frowned for a moment, then glanced down at Whiskers. "What do we do, Whiskers?" she asked, her voice filled with concern. Whiskers, of course, didn't say anything, but Lucy pretended to hear the toy cat's voice in her head. "You're right," Lucy nodded. "We'll have to go around." She carefully made her way around the boulder, imagining it as a giant sleeping dragon. She held her breath as she tiptoed past, making sure not to wake the beast. When she finally got to the other side, Lucy let out a huge sigh of relief and gave Whiskers a high five. "That was close. You were so brave," she said. As they continued on their journey, Lucy noticed the trees starting to thin out, and in the distance, she saw something gleaming, a tree so tall and grand it touched the sky. Its leaves were golden, sparkling in the sunlight just as she had imagined. "There it is, Whiskers!" Lucy cried, bouncing with excitement. The golden tree. She rushed toward it, her heart racing, and when she reached its base, she knelt down, her hands digging eagerly into the soft earth. "The treasure has to be here somewhere," she muttered. "I know it's hidden by the roots." For several moments, Lucy dug in the dirt, her fingers brushing against rocks and roots, until finally, she found something. With wide eyes, she pulled out a small wooden box, perfectly sized for an adventurer like her. Gasping with delight, Lucy carefully opened the box. Inside was a sparkling silver key, small but beautifully crafted, with intricate patterns that looked like tiny vines wrapped around the handle. Lucy held it up to the sunlight, marveling at how it shimmered. "This must be the key to the secret garden," she whispered to Whiskers. "The one the fairies talked about. We've found it." Lucy and Whiskers sat beneath the golden tree for a while, basking in the discovery, imagining all the wonders the secret garden would hold. She could already picture the garden in her mind, flowers taller than her, with petals that shimmered like jewels, fountains that sang instead of gushing water, and of course, more treasures, hidden behind ivy-covered gates. But the day was growing late, and the sunlight began to fade, casting long shadows across the enchanted forest. Lucy knew it was time to return home. "Don't worry, Whiskers," she whispered as she cradled her toy cat. "We'll come back tomorrow. The secret garden can wait for one more day." With Whiskers safely in her sling, Lucy turned and made her way back through the forest, retracing her steps along the silver stone path. The fairies waved goodbye, and the woodland creatures smiled as they passed. When she reached the back door of her house, Lucy glanced over her shoulder at the trees one last time. "See you tomorrow," she said softly. As she stepped back inside, Lucy smiled to herself. Every day was an adventure with Whiskers, and tomorrow promised even more wonders. For now, though, it was time to rest and dream of the secret garden, and the new adventures that awaited beyond its gates.